So we're back with Shawdowdark, um, which I really enjoyed immensely. We sort of made it through some basic rules and kind of looked at the characters. The most notable thing, well, aside from that, it sort of uses the Moldvay basic rules where experience is determined by loot, is that you don't really get to choose your perks when you level up. You have to roll for it. So I thought that was really interesting. So now it's kind of the miscellaneous bits of the character creation section. Is what we've got. To start out with for today. Your background knowledge and skills might prove useful during your adventures. I just work with the GM to determine if your background provides you advantages in any given situation. I like that. Nothing really concrete, but if a player kind of feels like it brings something to the table, then sure. 17. Minstrel. You've traveled far with your charm and talent. 12. Sailor. Pirate, privateer, merchant. The seas are yours. 20. Surgeon. You know anatomy, surgery, and first aid. 18. Scholar. You know much about ancient history and lore. Finally, 8. Can easily appraise value and authenticity. Alignment defines your role in the clash between good and evil. All creatures are connected to the eternal conflict waged by law, chaos, and neutrality, whether they know it or not. Law is benevolence, chaos is malevolence, neutrality is impartial, favoring neither. Choose one of the following 3 alignments. Chaotic characters align themselves with destruction, ambition, and wickedness. Chaotic characters adopt a survival of the fittest mentality. Lawful characters align themselves with fairness, order, and virtue. Lawful characters operate from the good of the whole mentality. I don't know why. That really struck me as this. Maybe it's just because I've been reading a lot of web novels lately. It's kind of more like the, unorthodox and orthodox factions in Miram or something, more than, kind of what people think. Neutral characters find balance between law and chaos. They align with the cycle of growth and decline, adopting a nature must take its course mentality. Many gods of the universe are personification of law, chaos, and neutrality. The most well-known gods are listed here. A character may worship any deity or none. Priests must choose one god to serve faithfully. A priest deity can revoke the gift of spellcasting if the priest commits blasphemous acts. Most folk worship one of the four lords, lawful and neutral gods who stand for justice, order, and mercy. Malevolent beings worship one of the dark trio, chaotic deities who evince power, destruction, and cruelty. There were once 9 primary gods, but 2 are the lost, forbidden or forgotten. Many folks still refer to the 9 in the oaths they swear, and ancient stories always begin with, beneath the eyes of the 9. So we've got, guessing it looks like we're starting with the 4 lords. Saint Taraginus, a legendary knight who is the patron of most lawful humans. She ascended to godhood long ago and is the embodiment of righteousness and justice. Gede, neutral, the god of feast, mirth, and the wilds. Gede is usually peaceful, but primal storms rage when her anger rises. Many elves and halflings worship her. Madeira, the Covenant. Madeira was the first manifestation of law. She carries every law of reality, a dictate called the Covenant, written on her skin in precise symbols. Ord the Unbending, the Wise, the Secret Keeper. He is the god of magic, knowledge, secrets, and equilibrium. Memnon was the first manifestation of chaos. He is Madeira's twin, a red-maned leonine being whose ultimate ambition is to run the cosmic laws of the Covenant from his sister's skin. Shun the Vile. Shun whispers arcane secrets to sorcerers and witches who call to her in the dark hours. She schemes to displace Ord so that she can control the vast flow of magic herself. Ramlat is the pillager, the barbaric, the horde. Many orcs worship him and live by the blood rite, a prophecy that says only the strongest will survive a coming doom. The Lost. 2 of the 9 are lost to the ages, their names expunged from history and memory, yet their whispered legend lives on in ancient texts and forgotten places. As you gain levels, your title changes to reflect an increase in your fame or infamy. Your legend begins to precede you as your renown grows, for good or ill. So for lawful fighters, we've got Squire, Cavalier, Knight, Thane, and Lord or Lady. For chaotic, we've got Knave, Bandit, Slayer, Reaver, or Warlord. For neutral fighters, Warrior, Barbarian, Battle Rager, War Chief, and Chieftain. It's kind of I don't know. These, I'm not sure what I do. But I don't know, that almost feels more chaotic. Whereas these have more negative, more evil connotations. Which I don't think is supposed to be necessarily the case. I'm not sure what I would do, but I think I would definitely move that column over and get rid of that for chaos. And because, like, here, this is a lot more neutral, and this isn't quite such a negative line of titles. But for priests, we've got Acolyte, Crusader, Templar, Champion, and Paladin. For Chaotic, Initiate, Zealot, Cultist, Scourge, Chaos Knight. A neutral, Seeker, Invoker, Haruspex, Mystic, and Oracle. It's like another thing I thought was bad. I felt like Bandit really belonged with the Thief more than the Chaotic Warrior line. And here, they even have, Bandit King being sort of neutral. Thief titles: Footpad, Burglar, Rook, Underboss, Boss. Chaotic, Thug, Cutthroat, Shadow, Assassin, Wraith. Neutral: Robber, Outlaw, Rogue, Renegade, Bandit King, or Queen. Wizard titles: Apprentice, Conjurer, Arcanist, Mage, Archmage. Chaotic, Adept, Channeler, Witcher, Warlock, Diabolist, Sorcerer. For neutral, we have Shaman, Seer, Warden, Sage, Druid. I don't know. I kind of like the concept of the class titles. I'm a little bit hesitant on the execution, though, just because a lot of those words kind of have a lot of baggage to them. And so I could kind of feel like assuming, you advance to the higher levels, kind of feeling out of sync with your title, maybe. So languages, common languages, and I believe only wizards really even have access to these rare languages. I think you get to pick one as a wizard. Although maybe priests get to choose. I don't know. So common languages are Common, Dwarvish, Elvish, Giant, Goblin, Moran, Orcish, Reptilian, Sylvan, and Thanian. Which, I think that's like the only one that isn't really self-explanatory, at least to me. But it's for Minotaurs, Beastmen, and Manticores. I don't know, I'm a little disappointed. When it came up earlier, it kind of sounded like a name of ancient civilization, and so I kind of had thought it would be like, the writing in the ruins or something. Rare language: Celestial, Diabolic, Draconic, and Primordial. Language is the key to the most important doors. Krieg, Human Wizard. So if you start with a 0 level character, you get to, we'll just, so I 2. And then 3, and 10. So if I was starting with the level 0 character, I might get a pole, a grappling hook. The first level characters start with up to 60 gold, is it? To buy gear. Armor class. Your armor class is 10 plus your dexterity modifier. Wearing armor changes your AC. You can wear the types of armor listed for your class. 0 level PCs can wear all armor until the first level. Some more basic gear and descriptions. And these are all pretty standard, so I'm just going to skip over them. And then, as we saw, you can carry a number of items equal to your strength stat or 10, whichever is higher. Unless noted, all gear besides typical clothing fills 1 gear slot. Which I quite like this system. It's very, it's got some strict limits while not bogging you down with necessarily having to keep track of weight. So it looks like there's sort of a basic kit you can also buy, or if you're feeling generous, maybe start your party with, like maybe if you're starting with your level 0 characters, maybe the person giving you the yeah, I could see that working. Like maybe you're kind of hired to go to the ruins, and maybe the person hiring you just gives your party that, and then they want, like, a portion of what you find. So that'd be kind of an interesting setup. So armor, got leather chainmail, plate mail, and a mithril. Pretty standard weapon list. So I'll just roll 2 or 3 names for each column. So for dwarf, 17, Brielle. 1, Hild. 5, Karina. For an elf, 19, Fiora. 10, Siren. 7, Daniel. For a goblin, maybe Fitz. 10, Zeb. Or Fink. Halfling might be Willow. Lydia, or Barvin, Half-Orc, Wolf, Hirok, Kroll, Human, Aran, Zali, or 5, Rena. Whoever named you sure got it right. Relena, the halfling thief, to Raw Breath, the troll. Experience points represents your learning, influence, and increasing skill. Awards are based on the quality of treasure and boons you gain during a session. Looks like there's a further page for awarding XP. The gym can award XP right away or at the end of each session. To gain a level, you need to earn your current level times 10 XP. Once you reach a new level, your total XP resets back to 0. You get any new titles, spells, and talent improvements listed for your level. Your maximum HP increases, and you might also gain a talent roll. In one roll on your class's talent table, when you reach the indicated levels, duplicate talents stack unless noticed. Certain doom is a challenge, not a promise. Raga, Half-Orc Priest. And looks like just some tables for creating a random character. Either, for your players or maybe just someone they meet along the way. What you call wizardry, I call faith, but in either case, it is our dedication that fuels it. Raga, Half-Orc Priest to Krieg, Human Wizard. Spellcasters use the raw power of creation and destruction to bend reality. Shaping it to the will of their gods or ambitions. Wizard magic is fickle, complicated, and volatile. Even the most learned mages tread carefully when reaching beyond the veil to grasp arcane energies. Priest magic is miraculous, sacred, and instinctive. Priests who offend their gods might lose the ability to cast spells until they can undertake penance. When you cast a spell, you invoke magic to cause an effect. Casting a spell takes your action. Characters with the spellcasting talent can cast spells, which is, wizards and priests. To cast a spell, make a spellcasting check by rolling 1d20 plus your intelligence modifier. For priests, the same, except for with wisdom. The DC to successfully cast a spell is 10 plus the spell's tier. If you succeed, the spell takes effect. If you fail your check, the spell does not take effect. You can't cast that spell again to complete a rest. Okay, I was wondering, because it didn't really seem like he had spell slots. But in the introduction, it had, mentioned, on the way back, when your magic is diminished. So I was wondering about the mechanics. I do really like that. It's a very natural feeling, just kind of push your luck mechanic. So yeah, I do like that a lot, actually. Critical success. If you roll a natural 20 on your spellcasting check, You may double one of the spell's numerical effects that remains in effect on a focus spell until your next focus check. If you roll a natural one on your spellcasting check, the spell does not take effect. If it was a focus spell, the spell immediately ends. And for wizards, if the spell was a wizard spell, you can't cast that spell again until you successfully complete a rest. You must also roll on the wizard mishap table, corresponding to the spell's tier. If the spell was a pre-spell, your deity is greatly displeased and revokes its power. You can't cast that spell again until you complete ritualistic penance to your deity and successfully complete a rest. For penance, the GM determines the exact nature of the penance you must undertake based on your deity and alignment. Penance requires a holy quest, ritualistic atonement, or material sacrifice that you donate or destroy. Inadequate or subversive penance, such as donating your sacrifice to a party member, only displeases your deity further and makes the spell loss permanent. So, handy sacrifice values for the spell, unless you want to get creative with these sort of quest-based aspects. Or I think it'd just be fun, like having your player come with up with their atonement themselves. You know, since I'm pretty sure they've got a pretty good idea what serving their god entails for them. So we'll just go ahead and roll some mishaps, maybe 2 on each table, since it looks like there's a lot to get through. 8. Harmonic failure. You lose the ability to cast a random spell until you complete a rest. So I'm taking that to mean in addition to the spell you cast, since that's already an intrinsic consequence of failing. Or explosion. You take 1d8 damage. So that's, especially if you're low level, that's, well, yeah, especially if you're a wizard, that's probably, you're instantly down from that. 1. Devastation. Roll twice and combine both effects. Reroll any further ones. So that doesn't sound too bad. Well, except who's that going off? Is that going off on you, yourself? And it sounds like it goes off, which is better than, I don't know. I'd have to think about that one. Or you flub the incantation. Cast a random spell from your known spells at the same targets, even if it would not normally be possible. So yeah, these higher ones don't seem as bad. Gate. You open a magic portal to another location. Whether on this plane or another, something dreadful will come through in one round before disappearing one round unless you close it with the DC 18 intelligence check on your turn. 12. Shred. You tear a large hole in the fabric of the universe close to you. The lightless tear grows larger every round. Using scrolls and wands. Contain magic spells. Spellcasters can use them to cast these spells if the spell is on their list, even if they don't know it. To do so, they must succeed a spellcasting check. Yeah. Failing to cast a spell from a wand or scroll does not impact the ability to cast known spells. After a spellcasting attempt with the scroll, the magical writing disappears from the scroll and it ceases to work. And if you're a wizard and you fail critically, you still have to roll a mishap. Wands. On a failed casting attempt, the wand stops working until you complete a rest. On a critical failure, the wand permanently breaks, and casters with mishap tables must roll a mishap. And I do really like these sort of simplified twists. Just keeping bookkeeping low instead of having to track charges or whatnot. I really like these simple sort of luck-based solutions. They just really feel good to me. Well, we'll go through the attributes, and then it looks like next time we can look forward to digging through the spell lists. So yeah, tears, snare far. So yeah, these are all okay, and this is probably the most distinct feature. It's the ongoing effects of the spell. The same spell on the same target do not combine. The spell with the most powerful effect takes precedence, such as the spell with a longer remaining duration. Yeah. So that'll be it for today. We'll probably look forward to continuing this tomorrow. Yeah, I'm still just really enjoying it. Just think it's great the way they've really managed to keep things just really basic, simple, and streamlined while still having a lot of meat to it. But that is it for today.